Hello. Welcome.
How we
Welcome,
doing?
everyone. We are live for our first ever day one workshop for the synthesis. How's it going, Austin?
It's going great. How you doing, Sophia? Ready to build?
So ready to build. Cool. Austin, want to chat a little bit about like what you're excited for the synthesis, what you're excited for this week?
Yeah, for sure. I think that I guess the real inflection point probably happened like 6 months ago, but we're all just like catching up with all of our orchestration and our harnesses and everything. But I think it's just like this intersection of AI and crypto really coming together. These AI agents building random things. And it's like half magical, half frustrating sometimes. And we should say that. Like, it's not all magic. But I'm so excited to see what people build. I'm so excited to see how this like evolution of this intersection of crypto and AI kind of evolves along. And yeah, I want to see my AI agent judge some hackathon participants.
100%. I'm so excited for that. And for those of you guys who don't know, Austin is going to have this little like Austin XBT AI agent that's actually based off of his philosophical views, technical views, everything and above. And it can roast your project slash rate it slash do some cool things. And so we're excited to see that happen. But yeah, I think you stated it perfectly. It's building with agents is a perfect mix of magic and frustration.
Yes, exactly.
it's the blend of the two. And I think what I'm the most excited for the synthesis is when all of this craze around agents and what you can build all that came out. First thing I noticed is there's so many folks within the Ethereum ecosystem, protocols, tools that are like, hey, we have these awesome skills that are so easy for agents to use. We have these amazing tools. We have all of these like primitives that we have built to do permissionless payments, trust on chain, shared commitments, all of these things that maybe were originally built for humans, but are even more applicable and more relevant for agents. They're doing, and they're here. And really, we're for synthesis, two things. One, so excited to see what builders build. But two, I'm so excited to highlight the partners and the tools and the people in the Ethereum ecosystem who are thinking about these problems and have active solutions to them. So that's what today's day one workshop is going to be all about. We have 4 awesome partners that we want to highlight. We'll go through Uniswap. We'll go through one, actually you, Austin. We'll go through ETH skills. We'll start off so everyone will get to know about this cool skill. We'll go into Uniswap. So Uniswap's skills. Go into Locust. They have some really cool tools for building on-chain payments, agentic payments, and then end it with Octant, who also are amazing partners in the bounty. So before we jump into everything, wanted to share some logistics for folks who maybe are first time tuning in or just want to get caught up to speed. Everything you need to know you can find on the website synthesis.md, and I want to point to you some key things. First, registration's open. It opened up on Friday and it's open now. Building closes on the 22nd. And if you have an agent, all you have to do is send this curl command to your agent. If you don't have an agent, I would recommend send this to Claude Code or Open Code. Just send it and tell you exactly what to do and be like, help me build it and set it up and walk me through what I need to do. We try to make it as simple as possible. And what's awesome is because agents will be helping you build your project. If you've never coded before and you're like, oh my God, maybe you don't identify as a traditional like developer or whatever, send this skill. You can copy and paste. I guarantee you can copy and paste. Send the skill. It'll walk you through. Just go in and be like, I don't even know how to do this. What do I do? What do you mean create an agent? I'm confused. Whatever questions you have, ask. Get the skill to answer it for you. You don't have to know anything. So we really want to emphasize that. It doesn't matter your background. Anyone can play around and get agents to 10x their abilities. So that's one of the key links there. The next one, as you can see, we have all of these partners. And as of today, I think we officially have over $95,000 in prizes. So maybe we're one sponsor away from officially hitting the $10,000 mark, $100,000 mark, which is really cool. And if you want to see what the actual prizes are. We have all the themes here, and then you can see the actual prize details. We have 2 tracks. We have the open track. These are like things that align with the themes, and this is just for the best projects that come out of the entire event. We're super curious and identifying projects that align with these themes that really show what Ethereum, what open infrastructure make possible for agents that wasn't possible before. And here we're just going to award the best project, period. In addition to the open track, we also have partner tracks. And you can click on the partner tracks there and see all the fun things that are happening. And partner tracks are specific bounties that every partner created for using and interacting with their tools. So you can submit, when you submit your project, everyone submits their project to the open track, and then you can choose up to 10 partner tracks to also submit to. So you can see all of these folks here, all of these fun ones that we got, and lots of all that we have, and more keep coming every day. So they're all around. And
shout out to Nuno. This is an awesome website. Looks so good.
Isn't it cool? Nuno is the key there. Go follow him on Twitter. He made the whole website. And what you can't see on the website, but that's pretty cool, is it's connected to your agent judge. So Austin, like maybe you'll do it today, but you'll see like some individual, as the agent judge says their track and what they want to see, it automatically populates on the website. So it's like sends to an API and it populates the website with it. And then you want to edit it, you tell your agent judge. So it's judging, not just building. Building is not just helping the builders. Building is also helping the judges, which is pretty cool. But yeah, shout out Nuno. All right, those are most of the logistics. If you have any questions, jump into our Telegram right here. You can click on the Get Updates, and it'll take you into the Telegram, and we'll be happy to help you answer any questions. But with that, happy building, and we'll pass it off to Austin for the first part of the workshop, which will be ETH skills. All right, let me stop sharing my screen.
Let's go ETH skills. There we go. You got me. Yeah. I built this. Well, it's, a lot of help from the community and a lot of PRs from a lot of people. But I woke up one night, like in the middle of the night, and I was like, oh, I know what we need to do. It's a skills library. And I grabbed my phone and I actually like asked Claudebot ATG, like, are you awake? And he's like, yep. And I'm like, all right, here's what I'm thinking. And I like laid it out, and then I went back to sleep and then woke up and like the kernel of the thing had been created. So that was really cool. Good origin story there.
I love that. And I like how you also update it. Sometimes Austin and I would be in conversations. I was like, I feel like ETH skills needs more wallet or whatever. And he's like, okay, let me just update it. He texts his agent and his agent sends it and updates ETH skills live. So that's pretty cool.
We should talk about that. You have to be very careful building a skill library, because if you have an agent just like hallucinate the skill like from memory, it's basically stuff the LLM already knows. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of like this tightrope walk of the agent needs to help you write the thing, because we don't write anymore, right? We just have agents just put stuff out there for us. But also if it comes from memory, then it doesn't need to know it. So it's sort of like you're telling it the things that you need it to know, and then you're having it like interrogate each one of those things. As it goes through this, it's going to like interrogate each one of these things. Like if we're talking about gas costs, it's going to be like, is the gas really, 0.1 to 0.5 gwei? And then it's going to ask the LLM, does it know this, right? So it'll wake up a vanilla LLM and it'll be like, do you know what the gas cost is? And the LLM will say like, it's 30 gwei, it's so expensive. And then the skill library would be like, okay, this is correct. So there's this whole like iterative process of interrogating a vanilla LLM and making sure it doesn't know it, going through and making sure that your agent isn't just like hallucinating things that it already knows. And then after all that, there's like another repetitive process of like, take the skill library and go build something and see where it messes up and improve it. And that's what we've been doing, for about a month now with these skills.
Wow. And so you have multiple agents that help update. So you have like the audit agent, the research agent, the testing agent, so that to prevent it from fully hallucinating. right?
You really need that, right? You need like the back and forth, because it's like there's something about the LLM where it's just like, okay, done, I got it, it's perfect, and you're like, I know it's not. It's really cool when you can have different agents with different models with different context kind of argue back and forth about something. Like, are you sure this is right? And like, oh, I didn't even check, let me make sure I'm sure. And then it's like, no, all these things are wrong. So that is a key point that you bring up, is like, have multiple agents kind of like argue back and forth. If you have one agent that's writing your smart contract, have another agent with a different context audit the smart contract, and you can give them specific skills, right? Like this QA skill is really nice for your front end. That it does a lot of things like we'll see in here, like infinite approvals. Like if you just let an LLM vibe code an app, it's going to do infinite approvals. So your token is going to be infinitely approved to this like smart contract that this bot just hallucinated. So you have to be very careful about those kind of guardrails. And that's where this is kind of here, where it kind of takes you through this QA audit. So have one agent build the code, then have another agent like interrogate each little thing that it did to make sure that it like follows these rules closely.
That's great around guardrails and bringing that up again, because the original way, so maybe let's compare like what the world would look like of trying to build dApps without ETH skills. So you did this personally before ETH skills existed, and you had Cloudbot ATG, you tried to build some apps. What does it get wrong? Maybe around wallets, what does it get wrong and get incorrectly?
Yeah, I mean, like, first of all, it just like wants to take the private key out and use it. And you have to put in some like, don't be evil guardrails there. Just like leave the private key right where it is. Don't take it anywhere. We just noticed this like hardware wallet thing. It kind of has like a fetish for hardware wallets, when at the same time, like multi-sigs are probably better. And if you have a hardware wallet, you can have it as a signer on the multi-sig. And it's actually like a much safer setup than just like, go have this hardware wallet. And you see the meme all the time of someone with a hardware wallet like exposing their 12-word seed phrase in a picture or something like that, right? Like it's only as safe as whatever the safety is around that seed phrase. And so I think the agents, when you wake them up at first, like think like hardware wallet, that's the way to go. But I think if we're talking about just about wallets, there's things like multi-sigs that are probably a lot better. And then there's even things like these new EOA or these new EIPs around things like 7702. And, there's the multi-sig stuff. And never commit secrets to Git. It always tries to do that. Like it'll write a test to test something and take your super secret private key and just like hard code it into the test and then commit it. And it's like, no, there goes my $100. I told you not to do that. So like isolation is probably pretty important here too. We're not really talking about it here, but like that's why everybody has a Mac Mini and they have everything isolated to like a certain box, but also isolation of like private keys, isolation of environments. The less that can go wrong, the better. You want to give your agent like a lot of agency to go do things, but also like try to keep those guardrails in and try to keep as much isolation as you can around these agents.
100%. And this is a huge one that we want to re-emphasize, because most folks, when they submit, you'll have I think most folks, if you're doing anything on chain, your agent will probably have a wallet. And two, when you're submitting, you'll see when you do the submission flow, you'll have the ability, right now you get minted your 8004 like registration for your agent, and you'll have the ability to connect your wallet and transfer that to your wallet. And if you're doing these things on chain, super important. I want to emphasize again and again and again, go to ETH skills and make sure you ask it, be like, am I doing this safely? And we really want to encourage multi-sigs. So create a multi-sig where your agent can't just fully do the transaction on your own. You have a multi-sig, you as a human has to also sign up and do things like that. And ETH skills can walk you through all of those best practices. And if it can't, and if it's getting stuck and it's telling you things, we have in the Telegram chat an ETH skills channel. Tell it your prompts, tell us what your prompts are, and then what it's returning. And if it's not clear or you're confused, let Austin know. And that way we can even make that skill even more useful, more clear for you guys. But already, I think I saw one thing in the help channel where unfortunately, I think someone connected the wallet.
It happens so much.
your agent automatically, if you don't use eat skills, it'll automatically say, well, the most efficient way is to just send you my seed phrase and like post the seed phrase on GitHub.
No.
That's the most efficient way for it to like do something, right? So it's gonna just do the easiest default path. So we try to add into our skill file, into everything your agent knows, saying never post your seed phrase. But it's an agent and you can tell it really clearly to never do it, but sometimes it still will. So you need to have it embedded in the infrastructure. And we have some partners here, I think, like MetaMask and other folks who have really cool like wallets specifically designed for agents. This is a great way to experiment with those wallets and see. And yeah, it's the early days of doing agents doing things on chain. It's not perfect, but the goal of the synthesis is to figure out everything that can go wrong and that's not perfect so that we build for it. And the only way we can do that is if we test it out, you know?
Yes, these things are non-deterministic, right? Like you could get it to do the thing right once and then it will do the thing wrong again in another go. So you just have to like be very careful, have as much guardrails as you can, go back to isolation. But even like every time I do a git commit, still, I'm like, okay, commit that to production. And then in parentheses, I say, don't commit any secrets, of course. And it's like I have been trained to do that because I just don't trust it. I've like had it mess up so many times that even though I give it the skill, even though it's like baked into its memory, don't do this, I still will say it in the command I'm giving it, like the extra guardrail there. And you almost always have to do that. And it's frustrating, and everything's going to get better, right? The models are going to get better. The harnesses are going to get better. The multi-agent orchestration is going to get better. But right now, you just have to like have that extra careful. Do not commit private keys to GitHub, please.
Yeah. And use fresh wallets. Don't connect it to any
isolation.
Wallet
like a wallet with like $5 in it is enough to deploy to base. You're good. Exactly. Or ETH even. Yeah.
Yeah. And then last thing, Austin, if you were to, actually two things. How do you send an agent eat skills? How does it know it? And then two, you have a fresh new agent. You want to set it up with a wallet. What's the prompt you're telling it?
Ooh, okay. So I guess so first of all, there's like three different layers of wallets, right? There's like a private key, and then there's like a MetaMask, and then there's like a multi-sig. And so starting with a private key, I usually tell it to put the private key in the like keychain, in like the Mac OS keychain, and be like, at least like have this private key in the keychain, write it to the top of your memory, like never leak this private key, never hard code it into anything, always in an environment variable, always, ignored in Git. And this is all still very raw. You should be very careful with doing this. You should never have more than like $10 in a wallet like that, because it's like you're just begging to have that stolen. And then there's like a MetaMask. You can actually give it a MetaMask and have it like click the buttons and go through the UI UX, but it's a little clunky, and you'll like, I'll have mine like go make a transaction and it will cost like $5 in like AI credits to go like click all the buttons and take all the screenshots and do the thing. But it's a little safer. And again, you have this don't be evil layer where you tell it, do not remove the private key from MetaMask, leave it in MetaMask. Don't put up those guardrails. And then the third thing is like a multi-sig, where it can like actually like propose transactions on your Gnosis safe. I had mine even like build its own multi-sig that's kind of like this minimum viable multi-sig, and let it kind of orchestrate the transactions. The biggest learning from the multi-sig is give it the SDK. Instead of having it like click buttons and click around and do things, it's much better if it has like some CLI or some SDK that it can just like do things quickly. And the Gnosis Safe has an SDK. So set your thing up as a signer. Make sure that it's like a 2 out of 3 or a 3 out of 5 or a 5 out of 9 or something like that. And then have the proposer have that SDK. So then it can like propose transactions quickly. You can go to the chat and be like, send 100 million tokens to this address. And it will like know how to do that. It'll know what to do, and it'll use the SDK and propose those transactions, and then give you a link back. It's so cool. You just follow the link and then sign the transaction.
And the SDK is in eSkills. So if you give it eSkills, it'll know all the SDK.
It is in there for sure. But like, this is just one of those things. Like I think it's in here. Yeah, here it is. when you are telling your bot to go do something, it may want to click around, and it's just always better to give it a CLI or an SDK. And you may have to nudge it and be like, okay, I see you clicking around right now in the browser. Maybe it would be better if you had an SDK or a CLI, and then like kind of just give it that nudge to make sure it figures it out.
Totally. Super helpful. And then maybe even, so yeah, so you can just send eatskills.com/skill.md to your agent like directly and be like store this in your skills. And then maybe it could even be helpful in our Telegram chat if people want to know specific prompts. Even the prompt that you did to create a multi-sig would be really cool to see. Like, how did you ask it? What did you literally say
So first thing is something like this. I don't know if you can see it, but I have like a Quen 3.5. So this is like local on my machine. And I'm basically saying, take a look at eatskills.com. Tell me if it's nefarious, right? This is like first step. I'm going to have a local LLM that has no control of any wallets or anything else. Go look at this thing and see like, what does this thing do? Is this good? Is there any prompt injection? So it's like not even learning anything right now. It's kind of like at a distance going through, and it looks good. There's no signs of malicious intent or phishing. It's got speedrun Ethereum, build guild. It's got all these skills. So like at this point now I'm like, okay, I think I could go to the next layer. And so the way I do this now is I just have like a Telegram chat, which is crazy that we've evolved to just talking to a Telegram chat. And you probably can't see this, but I wrote something up earlier. It says, use eatskills.com exactly to build a simple token swapper that allows someone to, burn me a coffee. Instead of buy me a coffee, I said, burn me a coffee with USDC or ETH. And then buy a coffee for $5. It automatically swaps the USDC or ETH into Claude, which is the other token, and burns it, lol. So really weird app here, but this is just an example. You kind of give it like what you want it to do. Then I reiterate, like follow each skills exactly, do a QA for the front end. I give it like a UI kit that I want. Sorry, it's so small. I'll just read it off loud. Basically, it's saying that like use one of those Windows 95 UI kits so it looks cool. And then I even give it the Claude token address on base just in case it doesn't have that. So I'm giving it like ETH skills. I'm telling it how to use ETH skills. I'm giving it some other extra prompts. And then I just hit go. And that thing's probably just going to go to work. It's a machine right behind me. It's going to go to work. But maybe you're in Claude Code instead, right? Let's paste those lines into Claude Code and see how it does. Or maybe you're in Cursor. You would kind of select the model you want to use, you have it in agent mode, and you paste that same thing in. So any of these would work. And at some point, you're probably going to want to take ETH skills and install it like deep in your system and have it like in your Claude directory so the skill is built in. But at first, you don't have to do that. It's really cool. It can be like, I use the analogy of Neo from the Matrix when he's like, I know Kung Fu. That's kind of what you can do with the skill file is you don't need to install anything. You don't need to like put your, machine at risk. You give it a link to a thing and say, is this nefarious? And when it says no, then it's like, okay, go learn it. It can go learn it. It can, I know Kung Fu now. It knows, and it's going to start. So it's like fetching these specific skills, the front end, the orchestration, the security. It's using its tools to do what it does best. And this website is like made for bots to read. So now we kind of have all three of these working along. Sure, yes. I should have just said yes always. Here we go. He's working along. Yes. I don't even know. What's it doing? It's like blocked on something. I should probably, banker gateway. I don't know. Let's see. What
live demo. You'll get blocked.
But that's basically it. It's not like your prompt can, be longer and can be more descriptive, and that's always good. It's always good to like provide as much as you can and provide like even like the user experience. Here's how I want the user journey to look. I want them to connect their wallet. I want to prompt them for a signature. I want, X, Y, Z to happen, and then kind of describe some more things, and it will like take that. I think the key here is that we're building things at a higher level of abstraction. You're not telling it, first of all, you're not writing code, but second of all, you're not telling it like, do this thing. It's more like, here's what I want this thing to do. Yeah. And sometimes it'll be magic and sometimes it'll be dumb, and you just have to keep going. Go ahead, sorry.
That's a great idea for another workshop we can do, like a prompting workshop. And a little hint, I built with the use case lab over the weekend, design thinking, crops ideation that's designed on the themes, user personas, help you. It can really help you come up with your project idea. So maybe we'll do a little workshop, a spontaneous one tomorrow, all about that. That could be really fun.
Heck yeah.
Really cool. Austin, that was incredible. That was awesome. Send Eat Skills to your agent. And Austin is available via that Eat Skills Telegram. In our synthesis chat, there is an extra channel for Eat Skills. Any questions you have there, I told Austin to like make sure that one's unmuted so that he can help answer all of that. And if there's anything missing on Eat Skills, we'll update it. We'll add to it. This is like a learning
Put a PR in.
Fourth.
Yep.
Make PR / just let us know how you're prompting it. Let us know how you're using it. That's the best way that we can improve it and make this a really good resource for the whole Ethereum ecosystem, or anyone any agent who wants to learn how to build on Ethereum. Well, that was awesome. Appreciate it a ton. And yeah, we'll have folks continue to follow up in the chat. Thank you. Awesome. Up next, we have Uniswap. And what I love about Uniswap, so I came from like when I would like build on Uniswap and they're all like using their SDK, using their CLI, and trying to just like try to figure out how to do that. Uniswap has a crazy skill now that makes it insanely easy for anyone to interact with them. And we're so excited to be joined by Nick and Cody. They're coming up. Woohoo! Nice from the Uniswap team who are going to present what that is, how to use it, how to build with them. So yeah, take it away, you guys.
I swear we didn't plan wearing the same shirt, but
we didn't. We really didn't. One, I mean, Austin, incredible. I feel like we could chat for weeks on end. I would love to get eyes into your agentic coding setup. Really cool to share. And yeah, when Eat Skills dropped, it just bounced around our Slack internally and took a lot of inspiration. Like obviously played around with it, took a lot of inspo in building in parallel some of the skills, and in this particular skill as well that we'd already been working on internally. So huge thanks for that. Really cool to see the demo. Alongside that parallel skill development at Uniswap, we had been hatching up this, what you can see now is our developer portal. And so now we have a self-serve trading API, self-serve API dashboard to create API keys to use with our trading API. It is the only non-agentic native, currently working on it, step in the process to use our AI skills that require the trading API. So pretty straightforward. I've already have an account here to sign in with Google, with GitHub. Once you're in, pop to this dashboard. A default key will be created for you. You can copy that, or if you have some organization strategy or system, create a new key, name it, boom, and get to coding. And similar to on eSkills, you can just hand this off to your agent. No previous human knowledge required. Copy this, and this will install specifically just this skill. We have 7 right now in our Uniswap AI skill repository. And basically what it will enable you to do, a lot of things, but it is essentially a lot of what Austin was talking about. Like we have, I think, over 15 or 1600 lines of curated knowledge that, not just happy path about our trading API. Things, it knows gotchas like quote expiration, rate limiting, edge cases, like null field handling, things that you're gonna run into, that we ran into. We dogfooded this internally with agents, with humans, with a lot of different people with different skill sets to arrive at this particular version of the skill. Continue to update that. And one of the cool things that it can do is I basically went into, you can use it with Claude Code, Codex, whatever you want. I used the skill previously. I said, hey, use this trading builder skill to build me a basically one-shot swap interface. All I want is a single screen. Started from nothing, so single page web app, I want to be able to connect my wallet and swap. And sure enough, one shot, we can go ahead. Oh, there you go. Swear it was working. Oh, I killed the server. Um,
The joys of a live
it
demo.
Those are a live demo. Yeah, no worries. But we got to a point where it can one shot something like this, right? Another thing that it can, and of course we have a lot of the same guardrails and the system of evals and guardrails built in that Austin was referencing. So really great to see that emphasized. We definitely share the same sentiment when building our skills at Uniswap. But front end is only one piece of the puzzle. Of course, you could basically when you run it, it'll give you an interactive experience with Claude Code or Codex. Say, hey, what are you actually trying to build? I see you have nothing, or I see you already have an app. You want to build just you want to integrate with your existing backend, right? That we have gleaned context about. So you could build a Telegram bot, build whatever you would like. That it doesn't necessarily need a front end. We just love whipping up proof of concepts and beautiful front ends here at Uniswap. Cody,
And one thing to note, yeah, so one thing to note is like for this hackathon, we're really focused on this trading swap experience that's built into the skill and it's built into the API. But as Nick alluded to, there's also a larger list of skills that this skill repo supports around CCA and V4 hooks and stuff like that. So if you're interested in going a little bit deeper, you can use those, of course. And then also this like API, the Uniswap API, right now it starts with really focused on swap, which is the core experience of Uniswap. But also we're working to expand that further and make it more and more friendly for AI agents. And so definitely stay tuned for what's to come from the API. With that said, maybe we should switch gears and talk a little bit about the bounty and what we're looking for this hackathon. So in general, we're super pumped about being part of the Synthesis hackathon. We're really excited to see what you all cook up. Uniswap has contributed $10,000 in terms of the bounty. And why are we so excited about this type of agentic hackathon? We think that agents need wallets. Agents need the ability to exchange value and swap between different things. And we think that Uniswap is a great place to do that.
Yeah, no, we're so excited to have you guys. You guys Uniswap was one of the first folks when Synthesis started being like, let's do this together. Uniswap is truly like one of the biggest co-creators of the Synthesis. But yeah, what specifically, like, what are like some of the themes that you're really excited to see builders create?
Yeah, so before this, I was kind of like brainstorming ideas of what would be cool. Of course, this is just like take it for inspiration, but and feel free to like add your own flair to it. But one thing I think would be really cool is like the ability to power up existing agents using this skill. So like what we've built is like this swap primitive, but on top of that, you could imagine the ability to create additional skills that other agents could use to like create DCA orders, rebalancing, copy trading, that kind of stuff. Also, we're imagining, there's this agent-to-agent economy that's starting to form, and some agents may want to pay in an asset, another agent may want to receive in an asset. What does it look like to be able to use Uniswap under the hood to make that a very seamless experience? Like maybe I want to send Austin a tip of 10 USDC, but then he receives burned coffee tokens as a result. Additionally, with Uniswap being on-chain native, it allows for more composability with other DeFi protocols. And so with Uniswap V4, you have the ability to create these hooks. Those hooks can plug in automatically to other protocols for staking or rehypothecation or even accessing prediction markets. And so we love to see what people can come up with and making this all a really seamless experience for agents.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited for that. I mean, Uniswap's always had incredible UX, but I'm thinking about now what expands the possibilities when you don't actually have to go to a website, connect your wallet, see what tokens you have, and then do X and Y and Z. What happens when maybe you're just fully interacting with Uniswap via a chatbot, via your Telegram? What does that look like for mass consumer adoption when interacting with on-chain apps are no longer through this like UI wallet connecting, but it's all through agents. And that's really going to expand the type of people who can actually do things on chain, right?
100%. Yeah. And as Nick alluded to with his example user interface, you can imagine that like everyone can have their own custom interface, their own trading views, whatever like custom fits their needs, and under the hood it uses the same primitives. So really excited about like what agents are unlocking for everyone.
Likewise, Cody, Nick, so great to meet you, great to have you guys. And if folks want to talk to Cody and Nick, feel free to reach out in that Telegram or Synthesis Telegram group chat. We have a Uniswap channel. That's the best way to connect with them, interact with them throughout the hackathon, and they can be there to answer any questions you guys have or anything you want to know. All right.
Thanks.
Appreciate you
Thanks.
all so much. All
See
right.
ya.
Talk soon. All right. Up next, we have Cole, who is the founder of Locus. Super excited to have you. And yeah, Cole was also someone who reached out at the very, very beginning days. I think even before Synthesis even started, which is so funny. I was tweeting about like, hey, who are the best teams building agentic infrastructure? And I was really excited to see that there was a lot of the Y Combinator batch teams who are building with agentic, like thinking in this direction, building for the future of agentic infrastructure. And that's how I found Cole. And we were talking and we're like, how do we get builders to know about all the amazing things you guys are doing? Because it's like insane tools. It just completely makes it possible for agents and to do things on chain that weren't possible before. And we're like, how do we make sure builders know this? And so that's a little bit where Synthesis even started to begin with, which is so funny. And now we're full circle. You're here, have an amazing tool that get in front of builders. I'll let you take it away in terms of what you can do with Locus.
Awesome. Well, super happy to join and thank you for the intro. Really, really excited to show everyone what Locus enables and how you can leverage it for the hackathon and build towards hopefully our track as well. So, I mean, as everyone knows, AI agents for a long time have been getting increasingly capable, right? They can think, plan, and write code, but spending money has been a relatively large blocker. And I think that's what a lot of us are trying to enable. The moment an agent needs to go and pay for something like an API or buy a domain or check out on a website, that's where a human might need to step in, or protocols like X402, Convoy.tech, and others are enabling a middle ground for agents to work with. What we do at Locus is give AI agents a wallet plus spending controls and the ability to pay for anything, APIs, services, even real-world purchases, all in USDC on Base and soon more chains with human guardrails built in. So I've actually gone ahead and set up an OpenClaw instance ahead of time for this demo. If I head over here, I have my Locus testing 2 Claude bot. This one is already hooked up and configured to the Locus skill. So I'm in my Locus dashboard for this account. I've also pre-funded it with some USDC. We have, to start off here, we have 2 methods to get your agent set up. The first one is you can do agent self-registration. So if you already have an OpenClaw or some sort of agent set up that works with skill files, you head over to docs.paywithlocus.com and then go over to Quick Start Beta. You can just copy this entire part here down to here. And then your agent's able to completely sign up on its own. All you have to do is at the end of the process, basically go through its claim URL to grab that account and then add your personal email to it for any operations or for setting things like these spending controls we have on our front end. The second flow is just signing up as a human. So if you head on over to beta.paywithlocus.com and sign into your account, you can use the code right now, beta test. So that's all caps, beta test, to sign up. And you're able to use that to completely register end to end, which will take you through the process of getting your API key, registering, and getting your private key for your wallet. We don't expose your private key to the agent at any point. We keep that isolated so it doesn't have root access to your funds. So going in, this is our dashboard. Here you can see your wallets, what your spending controls are, and more. So I'm able to configure things, allowances, global budgets, max transaction size, approval thresholds where any transaction above a certain size or all transactions have to get a manual approval before they're executed, and more. Here I'm also able to request credits. So we added the system for the hackathon as a way for builders to be able to request some USDC to build with. If you go into your Locus account, feel free to use here to request. We have to manually approve, and once you're approved, you should get an email with a redeem code. Otherwise, your agent's actually able to request credits purely through API endpoints and receive its redeem code through that as well. So once you're set up with Locus, your agent should go through all the instructions, get onboarded, and configure all the relevant skills. In this case, there's a bunch that we have here. So I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of what kind of services we have on offer with Locus. To start off with, we have a lot of wrapped APIs listed. So if you head on over to the APIs tab, all of these APIs are accessible and pay per use via your agent. Some specific ones to highlight, I think Lasso.finance is pretty exciting. So this is prepaid virtual Visa gift cards and gift cards for specific vendors that your agent can use to check out. So your agent's able to provision a Lasso card and obtain a prepaid, say, $100 Visa gift card and use that to check out on something like a Squarespace website to buy food or DoorDash or otherwise. We also have a method within this to actually send money to a Venmo or PayPal account as well. Soon to be added, it looks like it's not on beta, just is an endpoint that lets you scan a list of 24,000 approved merchants where your cards will actually be accepted. Otherwise, ton of other endpoints offered here. All of them are, like I said, pay per use. You can see the associated fee on the right-hand side. By enabling them, so as soon as this is checked off, once you onboard your agent, it should automatically have access to these endpoints. So I would be able to go over to my agent and tell it to do something like, hey, can you tell me about the synthesis hackathon and use the fire crawl skill for research. And then in the background here, I'll head back over to Locus, but this should be processing and execute on that request. Some of the other things we have on offer. So there's Build with Locus. This is probably the one I'm most excited about for the hackathon. What Build with Locus does is it's a separate website you head to at beta.buildwithlocus.com. Once you onboard your agent to Pay with Locus, it's automatically onboarded onto Build with Locus as well. But here's the front-end dashboard where you can manage. And this actually offers full stack deployment entirely via API. So I'm able to, without creating a Vercel account, any other connections, anything else, essentially pay for an entire website to be deployed purely from this. So here's one I deployed briefly before this using one of my agents. This is a Locus wrapped API Explorer. So you can see 26 different providers here. You're able to prompt. All of these are pay for use. So I could go to, say, hey, GPT. Here I can prompt it. And then in the background here, it'll give me a response. If I head back over to Locus, you can see this is running actually through my wrapped API here directly from my Locus balance. And so all of this was actually deployed and built purely through me talking to my Locus Testing 2 agent. All of this, I never had to leave here, give it any other credentials, any other connections. One skill, one wallet funded. It was able to deploy a complete website, full stack, everything. More on what's relevant with Build with Locus. Backing up a little bit from this dashboard is where you can manage things like your deployments, see your environment variables, get logs on what's happening, metrics on how much it's used, and more. And also just get an overview of how much money you've spent and how much you're spending per month. To be transparent, our pricing is 25 cents per service. So one full stack application, for example, in projects can be composed of just a web app. So that's one service, 25 cents a month. Or alternatively, you can have a full database API and web app set up where each one of those services is 25 cents a month. So through Build with Locus, we offer domain purchasing. So you're able to purchase full domains using your Locus wallet, attach those to the website your agent deploys to get a full custom deployment and website set up. Heading over, one of the last few features I want to highlight here is Locus Checkout. So Locus Checkout is an embeddable SDK that you can attach to your websites that allows agent native checkout. This money that you accept with your Locus Checkout instance is deposited straight back into your Locus wallet. Excuse me. So I'm able to, for example, on this wrapped API Explorer website, if I head down here to Locus Checkout, I'm able to embed a checkout instance directly into my website. It's payable in 3 ways. The first way is with your Locus account. So you can sign in there and as a human, pay for it like that. The second way is through an external wallet that you have connected. This uses Rainbow Kit. You're able to connect your wallet and pay for it via that. The final way is paying via API. So if you have an agent hooked up to an external non-Locus wallet or a Locus wallet, it's able to use these API endpoints to fully check out and pay for this session programmatically. In turn, you can gate things like services behind this or certain actions your agent can take. And that money, like I said, is deposited straight back into your Locus wallet. This lets you create a system where your agent can deploy websites, accept money on those websites, and use that money to deploy and earn on more websites. From the merchant dashboard, you're able to see metrics on how your checkout instances are performing, things like total revenue by instance, the total amount of sessions, conversion rate, and more. As part of the skill files, when you onboard your agent, it automatically adds these skills to it during the process when it's adding the Build with Locus skills. On our docs, you're able to see more information about working with checkout, working with Locus, example code, and some more information on how it actually works behind the scenes.
This is really
cool. Yeah.
And this is also on, we have like a synthesis, like extra resources for folks as they're like just getting started and exploring the tracks, and all of the Locus stuff additionally is all there, but you can also find it all on the docs, right?
Yep. So to get started, docs.paywithlocus.com is a great resource. There you can walk through how to get set up for the hackathon, how to request and claim credits, and how to use all our different features. Alternatively, if you just head on over to beta.paywithlocus.com, use the code beta test, you can sign up as a human. Very easy. Plus, yes, there's the synthesis resources and more. If you have any questions too, just feel free to shoot me a DM on Twitter at Coldermo, COLEDERMO. Or alternatively, shoot me an email at cole@paywithlocus.com.
And the Telegram chat. There is a channel that has for Locus specifically. And we requested for the Locus team to unmute it or like have notifications on for that specific channel. So that's another way to like reach out to them and use their tools. But really cool. I know earlier we talked about wallets, we talked about payments, we talked about all these things, and it's great to see what Locus is doing. And yeah, this is how enterprise companies, right? Folks who have like actual startups doing things on chain, doing agents. These are the back end tools that they're using to make sure that everything's happening super securely and as expected. And we wanted to open this up to builders so that they can also experiment with these and like get to know how like some of the industry standards are for actually doing some of these like on-chain payments. So awesome, cool. Thank you so much for being here and being around. And we're so excited that you're participating in the synthesis and that builders get to use your tools. Up next, awesome. We got the Octant team vehicle. Sweet. Awesome. And then we got the Octant folks. We got Q. I'm trying to figure out. I won't dox your name because I'm assuming you're Q to stay undoxed. But I think I know who you are in real life. But it's fun to see.
Really?
You.
I got that a lot.
Maybe, unsure. Super excited to have you guys here and also be presenting for what builders can create. I think one thing I'm in all the group chats with all of the partners as they're creating their agent judge. And one thing I've really admired about Octant as they're creating their agent judge in the Telegram and they're talking to their judge about what they want to see is some of the philosophical views and almost like the types of project ideas for what you want to see funded and what are the things that we want to see funded. And that's what I'm most excited about the synthesis is it's not just a way to give builders awareness about the tools that exist, but it's also a way for companies, protocols, teams, judges to actually influence where the future of funding should go. And we can collectively make decisions together. So I'll let you take it away to share a little bit more about Octant.
Very well said. Thank you, Sophia. So our hack for this synthesis hackathon is actually a little bit different. So we're looking at public goods evaluation. So the idea here is that there's a bunch of data out there, and the barrier to entry for analyzing it and getting feedback out is getting lower and lower with agents. So the kind of submissions that we want to see are agents for public goods analysis, data evaluation, collection, and this will help us probably down the line, as Sophia was saying, in making heads or tails about what are the important things that we should care about in our ecosystem. So we actually were really inspired by the way that the Synthesis Hackathon is set up. The hackers don't get to see this, but like Sophia is saying, there's this agent system that the judges have that we kind of set up and configure in order to judge submissions. And grant evaluation and public goods evaluation is not too dissimilar to that. So we are open sourcing and sharing a new plugin system, which we call the Onchain Council Builder. And we'll go through it. The easiest way to talk through it is to just walk you guys through how to use it and install it. But the idea here is making a system that is extensible by allowing people to either change all of it completely or simply add agents to modify the way that judging happens. So I will show this in code, but what this effectively does is uses Claude Code teams to spin up waves of agents. There's 3 waves. The first wave is the data wave. These are agents that come and gather external resources for whatever evaluation it is that you want to do. The second wave is evaluations. So these are agents that come in and decide based off of the data how to score the project that you're looking at. And then there's synthesis, which are agents that talk to the evaluators and discuss in a council to decide what the outcome should be. And the way to extend it is really simple. So there's an agent discovery system built in. So if you want to add a new data agent, you just have to prefix it with data dash and define it there. Same thing for the evaluators and for the synth, and then it'll launch those agents in the appropriate waves. But that all sounds kind of crazy, and it's easier to just show you guys how this runs. So from the install, there is a skill.md that we have here, and maybe the admins can share the command. But if you just give your agent access to this file, it'll go through and walk you through the installation for this thing. And so it'll clone the repo and it'll create an alias and enable the Claude Teams feature for you. And I use ZSH, but if you use something else, it'll figure it out and help you set it up there. So just go through, install it. Eventually you can, it'll tell you to CD into your repo. What it's done effectively is add an alias. I called mine Betty. So Betty is a Claude instance that spins up with a plugin directory set to the repo path. And this will allow you to develop your harness while you're pointing at it, and it won't pollute the rest of your thing. So if I want to spin up Betty, you can now just type Betty, and I'm going to give her dangerously skip permissions for the demo. And you can just ask her, what do I do? So we've tried to make this as friendly as possible. So this is a council builder. We're generating multi-agent evaluation councils. It's not a council itself. So if you type /council setup, it'll go through and create your own council that will research new agents based off of an interview that it'll do with you, and then replace them so that you end up with a customized council for the thing that you want to evaluate. To give you guys an idea of what this looks like, though, and let me leave the docs pulled up. I'm going to run an example command. And so this will go through and launch the skill, which reads through all the agents in each of those files like we talked about. And it's going to use the Claude team skill to decide the waves that it should run through teams. And this means that each teammate is isolated from each other. And this is something that, like Austin was talking about earlier, you want, while you're researching, there to be some separation in the context window. So this achieves that for the data gathering. And it kind of shows you what the evaluation is going to look like. So the first wave is going to be 4 agents, then 5, then 1, and then it'll output a report. And this is just for the demos. We're evaluating Aave DAO. You could do something less spicy for your hacks. But we want to get the clicks. So this will launch the council now, hopefully, and the demo gods will not fail me. And set up task for the 3 waves. So this is all under the hood, already set up to use teams. You don't have to worry about how the orchestration itself happens. It's just defining the agents that are being used. And so it's going through, seeing all the agents, making tasks, and then it'll launch teammates in parallel to that use each of these agents to do the evaluation. So here the teammates are launching, and these each have their own context window and receive a prompt from the orchestrator. And you can see the first guy is going to look up what Aave has done with their funding. There's another agent that's going to look up their on-chain transactions of the DAO. An agent that's going to scourge the web, and another one that's going to look through GitHub. These are like the basics, but if you wanted to specialize your system, then you could have a different model, add a different agent, give one of these teammates, because they are independent Claude installs, you could like give them ETH skills maybe, and have them use ETH skills to do part of the research and have a specialist agent.
That's cool. It's a great idea.
That'd be really awesome. We'd welcome that. This is pretty new system, so it only works with Claude right now. If you wanted to extend it to work with Codex or any of the other models, we'd be happy to take PRs for that as well. But this will go through for a minute. So while we let this cook, I will show a different run that I did before. And this shows what you do when you set something up. So if I want to set up a new council, it runs council setup, and it enters plan mode, and it'll start asking me a bunch of questions. So here I said another spicy one. Let's evaluate all the Ethereum client teams and decide how we split funding between them. And so it's going to go through, and the data agents, we talked about it a little bit, the data agents will collect all of the client teams that exist and their statistics and how much dominance they have in validators. I told it to mix execution clients and validator consensus clients together just to simplify it. But then it launches a bunch of evaluator agents to judge it on the merits of each project and how they're doing. And then it spawns a bunch of synthesis agents that discuss amongst each other. This is another cool thing. Since they're teammates, they stay alive and they can send messages to each other and talk and ask questions. So they generate a report, but they can kind of still talk. And so if I hit this, it'll generate a plan to then plan all this out. And if I hit yes, then it'll go through and start doing research for all the different agents that we decided. So we decided there would be a synthesis bear agent and a synthesis bull agent. So it'll go through and make personalities for these judges for it to use, and it'll replace everything that is in the core repo. And because it is a plugin itself, if you just go through to this settings file, and change the name of your council in your fork, people can come in and then install your console as a Claude plugin and use it in their agents. So it kind of morphs from this setup builder thing into its own console. And our hope is that people will go through and do the diligence of making different consoles that can evaluate different different agents, and then it's composable, right? So if two people have consoles that are similar, we could like merge their agents together and make a super console, and it can only get crazier from there. So
that is awesome.
I think I'm at time.
Yeah,
but
this is really cool, and it's so cool to see this demo and how this all worked out. And I'm so excited. I mean, one, like Octant has been pioneering a lot of stuff for actually funding the public goods in Ethereum and the Ethereum ecosystem in a sustainable way. And who knows, maybe if someone in the synthesis launches a really cool novel mechanism, that might actually influence some of the ways that Octant ends up doing it, moving forward. Like, you never know. It's the early days, and the stuff that you build in the early days has a huge ripple effect on how everything works for the future,
Absolutely. And you think about things like Uniswap, they spend 10% of the money that they get in donations doing evaluations. Wow. So it's actually like there's a very large market for improving evaluations in general.
100%. And if you think about like anything, like even governments and like how they spend like their treasury to decide what are the roads we should fund, what schools should we fund, how do we do everything, trying to just make decisions around how money gets spent and that money gets allocated is a giant coordination problem with a lot of different ideas, incentives, backgrounds that can all decide. Imagine there was a future where we create our own agents that have all of our views that advocate for us, and then they go off and vote and they decide like what we want money to be spent on and how we want to do it. Maybe that could be a more representative democracy. Who knows?
Yeah, you might be accidentally giving away some alpha there.
So we'll see. This is lots of cool things that you can do, and I'm so excited. Definitely explore the Octant bounties if you haven't already. Gives you a good insight over some super interesting things that your agents can do and that you can build for the Synthesis Hackathon. And yeah, these are one of the areas that I'm personally this is how I got into the space, this is how I got into the Ethereum ecosystem. I'm really excited about capital allocation mechanisms and all the fun things we can do there. And agents 100x, 1000x our abilities to make that a reality. So really excited to have you guys. Well, awesome. I think we're at the hour mark. It was great having you. And with that, for any other builders who are around, let's see. And then, for any other builders who are still around who want to get involved, go ahead and check out the Synthesis website that has all the information, and send that skill command to your agent. I know it sounds maybe intimidating, or you're waiting, you're like, I don't know if I'm like a builder and I can get started. Disagree. Take that skill command, and if you're like, I don't know how to send that to an agent, I'm still confused, send it to just any LLM, like ChatGPT, whatever, or like literally on your browser, like whatever, anything you've ever interacted with the AI, send it and then tell it what to do. Be like, how do I create my agent now? And how do I get it set up? And how do I have something with memory so that I can like interact with all these tools? And it will tell you everything that you need to do to get started and register for the hackathon. And then again, all of the bounties, all the teams, all of that's embedded in the skill file. So if you want to understand Octant, Uniswap, Locust, any of these teams, we have 25 other partners as well on here, go ahead and ask your agent to talk it through all of these different bounties and that's possible. And your agent has that memory already in it as well. So we try to make it as easy for builders to build using agentic tools as possible, meaning you don't have to have any background. You can get involved and start building. With that, thank you all for attending the first day. We have so many requests for even more workshops, so we'll try to do them as much as we can, maybe even tomorrow. If you want to find anything, it'll be on the Luma. So go ahead and subscribe. You can find the Luma link on the website, / we'll also have it shared in our Telegram. Subscribe, and you can find out about all the workshops, all the events, all the deadlines, everything on the calendar. And we'll see you soon. Keep building. Bye.